Well, what do elephants, falling cats, and squirrel dinner parties have to do with helping kids understand biblical truth? From the creative work of Mike Nawrocki comes a new series on Minnow, the Dead Sea Squirrels, featuring two new furry characters, Merle and Pearl, and their fun-filled adventures.
Squeak, squeak!
From the co-creator of VeggieTales.
Good morning, brother.
Comes a brand new animated series, 2,000 years in the making. It's the Dead Sea Squirrels. Featuring an all-star voice cast, including Mike Nawrocki. Guest appearances from Phil Vischer, Duncan Phillips of the Newsboys, and Beth Moore.
Yeah, girl.
Plus original songs featuring Matthew West, Mercy Mees, Bart Millard, Ellie Holcomb, and many more.
I feel a song coming on.
Filled with faith, fun, action, adventure, and biblical truth.
With God, anything is possible.
Straight from the mouths of the squirrels who saw the story unfold firsthand.
Not the whole Bible, just the last part. We're not that old.
The Dead Sea Squirrels. Streaming now, only on Minnow. Download Minnow to watch today.
You're in high demand.
Yeah, we're pretty great.
All right, well, welcome to the show, Mike. Thank you so much for being here today.
Ashley, thanks so much for having me on.
Of course. I mean, just watching that trailer and the clips, I mean, honestly, it put a smile on my face. The characters are so cute.
Thank you.
Oh, my goodness.
You.
Okay, so tell us, how did you come up with the idea of the Dead Sea Squirrels? Like, what led you to create this series?
So back in my VeggieTales days, one of the lines that we drew in the sand very early on was to never depict Jesus as a vegetable for obvious reasons, right?
Good call.
Yeah, all the rest of the vegetables would be jealous. Right. But I wanted to have a show that could tell more New Testament stories, more core gospel stories. And so the idea was sort of Encino Man meets the Dead Sea Scrolls. You know, what if we could bring characters from the first century into the 21st century?
Yeah.
And, you know, the pun Dead Sea Squirrels popped into my mind, and it went from there.
So cute. Okay, so it started as a book series.
It did, yeah. So I started writing the books around 2017 through Tyndale Publishers. There's 12 books out, and then right around 2020, 2021, had the opportunity to create a pilot based off of the first book, and then we raised the funds to do the whole season. So now we have a 13-episode season 1, which is about 5.5 hours of animation based off those 12 books.
So awesome. Okay, so are you a character in this series as well?
I am. I am Merle Squirrel.
You're Merle. Okay.
Merle Squirrel. That's right.
Okay, and VeggieTales fans, you were also
Larry the Cucumber.
This is awesome. And then you also have some really incredible people a part of the cast. You got Beth Moore.
Yes, yeah,
yeah. Other people.
Oh, yeah. It's just been so much fun to reach out to folks. Say, hey, would you want to do a voice?
Yeah,
you know, so Beth does Mary Squirrel. Phil Vischer, my friend from VeggieTales, Bob the Tomato, does Larry Squirrel. We can sort of switch it up a little bit. But then the Christian artists that we've been able to work with have been fantastic. I'm friends with Matthew West.
Oh my gosh.
And I, reached out to Matthew. Hey, Matthew, would you play the role of Jesus in this? And he's, so he's every episode has a flashback to the first century, all done in music. And so Matthew is the singing voice of Jesus in a lot of the songs. My friend Steve Taylor, who's also producer on the show, folks may recognize his name from Christian music, but he's the singing Apostle Paul, and Mac Powell is John the Baptist. And so just incredible amount of talent have joined the production to make it really, really special.
I mean, fans of VeggieTales loved all of the silly songs that the characters sang all the time. Obviously, there's going to be some new original songs in this series, too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got, the first season has 22, 23 songs. Oh, every episode has at least one song. So music is an important part. And I think music is great, particularly when it comes to the theme and the lesson, because it's sticky and helps kids to remember, the point of the story.
Oh, absolutely. It's a lot easier to remember song lyrics sometimes than a Bible verse.
Absolutely.
So if the song is incorporating the gospel,
that's a great way to do it.
A brilliant way.
Yeah.
Well, what are you hoping, kids learn from the series?
Well, so there's key biblical principles in every episode, and so of course, I feel it's really important that kids, when they're consuming media, watch stuff with a biblical worldview that assumes there's a God who made us, who loves us, who wants a relationship with us. So that's key. Every episode, telling the truth, obedience, perseverance. those types of things are folded into the show. But then when you get to the later half of the series, we retrace the life and ministry of Jesus. And so it's a great way to present the gospel message to kids as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what do you think the future is for like children's content? Obviously, we just, we opened the show talking about that there are stats showing that younger generations aren't open enough to, I guess, receive the gospel, receive Jesus.
Yeah.
It's important that ministries are creating content, excuse me, that feeds their hearts and souls with the gospel. With
the gospel. Well, I feel like as human beings, we are all wired for story. And I think kids in particular are so receptive to stories. So if you can tell stories, like I said, with that biblical foundation, then I think it has a really powerful impact on kids' lives. Because kids take in so much content, and so much of it is devoid of that worldview. And so I think really powerful content that's just as entertaining as anything else out there is really important. So I think it's a great mission field for Christians to be on, to learn the craft of storytelling, how to create emotionally engaging content for kids. You know, that reaches them with the gospel. Yeah. Well, let's go back a little bit more about your story. So how did you even get into the world of kids animation, and what led you to do VeggieTales? Well, it wasn't a life I ever saw for myself. Nobody grows up thinking they're going to be an animated cucumber. But I loved growing up. I was a theater kid. I loved to perform, make people laugh. I actually went forward at when I was a junior in high school and dedicated my vocation to ministry. Wow. So I wanted to do something with my life for God, and I didn't know what that meant. At the time, the best I could figure out was I was supposed to be a missionary doctor. And so I did, went in that direction to do that. Along the way, became involved, met Phil Vischer, the voice of Bob the Tomato. He and I did a lot of writing and performing together. Yeah. We were both working at a video post house in Chicago while I was in school. And that's when computer animation was just starting to emerge. And so we took what we had done performing with puppets early on and infused it into this new art form and created VeggieTales. And so we just, we did the voices, we did the animation, we did everything. And so I felt like, okay, we created one show that's going to be great. Who knows if we're going to be able to do another one? But then it just took off, and it just became my life's work in ministry at that point. You just kind of fell into it. It's so cool. I love that. I love how God leads us. Oh yeah, just a plan that I had never imagined for myself. We can make our plans, but God determines our steps. Yep, God laughs. God laughs. That's right. Well, how many years were you doing VeggieTales? 93 is when we came out with Where's God and I'm Scared, and did that all the way up till 2016 full time. Wow. And then when I left in 2016, that's when I started to develop the Squirrels series. Yeah. Well, how did your experience with VeggieTales kind of shape your approach with the Squirrels series? Well, so I just felt like humor is so important, I think, and that's kind of how I'm wired for humor. And so I just wanted to create a show that was really funny, really engaging, with characters that kids just really loved and wanted to hear stories with. And so Bob and Larry were that. I feel like Merle and Pearl are the same way. Just super cute, super funny characters. They're an old Jewish couple, Merle and Pearl Squirrel. I love that. Grew up in Galilee, and then awesome. Merle decided he wanted to take a trip down the Jordan River to visit the Dead Sea because they heard you can't sink, and so they get trapped in a so they spend a lot of time in the sea, get all salted up, get lost in a cave for 2,000 years, and then reanimated in the 21st century. Oh my goodness, so cute. Well, we have to ask before I let you go, like, what does the future hold for Merle and Pearl? Merle and Pearl. I'm so excited. So the first season is out now on Minnow. Yeah. I've signed a new book deal with Tyndale for 12 more books. So I've started to write those. So congratulations. Thank you so much. So I'm 3 books in on that, and we're getting started on a season 2. So just hopefully there's more squirrels to come. Yay. Okay. And before I let you go too, what is Minnow? Minnow is just a... Minnow is a streaming service. Yeah. It's a Christian, #1 Christian streaming service for kids. The great thing about Minnow, they have VeggieTales, they have 3-2-1 Penguins, so a lot of content that parents love for their kids are available in that one spot. So it's a great service. Love that. Well, Mike, thank you so much for being with us today, and thank you for continuing to create awesome Bible-based content for kids. I know it's making a difference. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. All right, guys. Well, to watch the newest episode of Dead Sea Squirrels or the entire series, make sure you head over to gominnow.com. John, over to you.
Ashley, the inner kid in me is a little excited and also a little jealous. Yeah. Well, up next, total shock. That's what this couple experienced when they were told their unborn baby had a fatal disorder. Find out why they canceled a test to verify the diagnosis, and then meet their miracle baby right after this.